Hi, welcome to another live stream and video with Michelle Maricos and Julie Mavros. We are here doing another compassionate conversations for chronic pain or chronic pain compassionate conversations. And today's topic is going to be about gratitude and grace. We really thought that these topics were on point for coming into the new year of 2025. So we're just excited to be here. We're going to do a brief intro about ourselves and then we're going to launch into our topic. So, again, I said my name is Michelle Maricos. I am a peer support specialist for chronic pain, a person living with chronic pain. I've lived with chronic pain for over 20 years now. And so I help providers and patients bridge the gap around chronic pain and what it's like to live with chronic pain. And I am from Southern Oregon. Julie?
Awesome. Thanks, Michelle. I am Julie Mavros, your chronic pain and migraine coach, ICF certified health coach, certified body mind coach, basically all that rolled up into one as I help people step off the chronic pain and migraine roller coaster to step into reclaiming their life. So, yeah, we are super excited to bring this topic of gratitude and grace and how we can incorporate these two concepts into your pain management. And our goal, I was thinking and reflecting, our goal really, Michelle and I are pretty like minded, and we are hoping that you can grab a few nuggets that could offer you and bring a little bit more ease into your body and to your life.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Julie. Now, when we talk about the definition of gratitude and grace, what do we think that looks like?
You know, I think of gratitude as a lot of compassion. And I would like to bring in the concept of bringing gratitude towards your body. And I know that's a stretch for some, especially if you live with chronic pain, because oftentimes we have a very negative connotation towards our body and ourself, as if our body has been failing us. So we are going to talk about how we can bring some gratitude to life around us and also towards our body, all filled with compassion. As far as grace, I really connect flexibility. How do we bring in that grace or flexibility into your day to day, depending on how you feel? Yeah. Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah. And I think on the top of this, for the top of the talk, it's a great way to for us to share that no way are we talking about gratitude in a way of dismissing how you feel. Yeah.
No, absolutely not. And we really want to acknowledge that, living with chronic pain is a difficult experience. It is challenging. It brings up so many emotions, in our lives and, really acknowledging that piece of it too, and how we can kind of change the inner dialogue of, how we think about our pain. And so that's, in when I'm thinking about gratitude and grace and kind of what those mean, I'm for myself, I really do a lot of reflection and think about, how do I change my own conversation with myself about how I think about my pain and how I feel it every day, and what does that mean, and how, you know, bringing that to the forefront, and changing some of those thoughts and how powerful that can be.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. Yeah. Um, so if we look at the power of gratitude in our life and how we operate in our day to day, you know, for me, it's interesting because, if we look at the wide angle lens, I've had a lot of time to reflect since what happened to me was over 30 years ago with a bunch of injuries, a brain injury, when I was a jockey on the racetrack. So I've had a lot of time and to reflect of what gratitude now that I'm so thankful for the clarity now with all the work that I've done in my healing journey of really understanding um, that deeper knowing of how to address my stress, my pain, and what support my body needs. And grateful with a lot of gratitude that through this journey, it has pushed me into those uncomfortable spaces that I don't think I would have accessed without. That has really formed who I am. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I don't think, these journeys of this pain experience, without having reflection,
Mhm.
we can't have gratitude because we can't see where we've been. We can't see all those horrific dark moments. And when we reflect on those, dark moments, it does give us, that ability to have gratitude and be grateful for not being in those dark moments all of the time, of being
Mhm.
able to see the light and change, our thought process around, okay, I did have very difficult days and I'm going to have very difficult days in the future. That's not not a reality. That's a reality for all of us, but being able to be grateful for those lessons that those dark days have given us, that we have gotten through them and we will get through them again.
For sure. Yeah. It reminds me of a sign that I have in my office, and it is, there it's the phrase is, "There is gold in every piece of your story." And in my line of work, I hear a lot of stories, and we can be held, um, and stuck within our story, or we can look at the gold that's woven throughout in our learning and our personal growth, and in that journey, and how we honor uh, and we still acknowledge the suck and the hard over here, while
Absolutely.
we also can carry and hold that growth, that personal growth that is available for us. Yeah.
Absolutely. The power of and. It can be
Yeah.
sucky and we can actually grow from it. Of, and I love that weaving the gold pieces through and reflecting on that. And I think that that is so powerful and, really gives us you know, a lot of ways to be able to do that.
Yeah, for sure. It's shifting that limiting mindset, right?
Yeah.
To that
Yes.
growth. Yeah. But yeah, as far as the day to day, we have some great practical tips for cultivating gratitude. Michelle, do you want to share some of yours?
Yeah, yeah. So, we've mentioned this a few minutes ago too, and I mentioned this throughout the, talk today too about reflection.
Mhm.
And, how do we reflect? How do we, have that piece of being able to look back and go forward at the same time? And one powerful way that I have been able to build that into my experience is really journaling. It is, I do a lot of voice journaling. I do a lot of, talk to text journaling through the computer. And, I find myself, a lot of times I'll be driving in the car during kind of picking up my son or going different places, and I'll do 5 minutes of reflection of like, okay, this is my day, this is how it's going, this is the good, this is the bad, this is the ugly, and kind of going through the time kind of pieces by myself and then being able to listen to that again. And it's so interesting because I think we don't realize how powerful our own words are to ourselves. And like what we tell ourselves changes everything. And, being able to highlight what we are grateful for and what we are feeling in those difficult moments, both of those things can be true. You can be grateful and you can be in a very, very difficult moment, and how to kind of, weave those pieces together in our life story and being able to, you know, help others in that journey too. I think a powerful piece of this topic too is that we've taken, you and I both have taken our gratitude and being grateful in this journey to be able to help others, and how powerful that has become in our stories as well. So
Yeah.
journaling is my top tip. Journaling.
Yeah. Yes. Let's see. For me, I, to bring in some gratitude sprinkled in. I think when you experience chronic pain or migraines, because I also specialize in migraines, our body can often feel out of our control.
Yes.
So what I like to do is to help remind people of what you are in control and be grateful of what you are in control of, whether that is just the little things. Um, and, to understand your body in order to know how to address your stress, your pain, and what support it needs. With that awareness, with that reflection that you talked about, Michelle, right? And then be able to take those action steps of what is in your control. Like, hmm, if you feel that migraine coming, just a little twinge, maybe that is your cue to be grateful. Thank you. Your body is communicating with you all the time. And maybe that's your cue to go drink a big glass of water. You know, when you feel your energy levels start to deplete, how can you bring in some more rest and recharge? Because we know that when we get depleted, that increases our pain levels. So, bringing in that gratitude towards your body for all that it has to share with you and the choices that you do have power to make. If people are looking for help to get started on that journey, I have a great resource called Your Pathway Through Pain Workbook. You can find it on LinkedIn in my features section or on my website at juliemavros.com. And really, we come back to the basics of how do I feel and how do I get to honor my body today. So check that out if you want some beginning steps on that journey. But yeah, I think reminding ourselves all that we do have control over when our body might not feel always in our control, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do you use like mindfulness in those moments too? Like, what are the things that you have learned about mindfulness and like bringing that into like your gratitude sphere?
Yeah, I think mindfulness and awareness, again, through your reflection, right? Through how you process through your journaling or your voice messaging to yourself. Um, I think we need to highlight that and this is a totally different topic that we'll talk about on another day, but bringing in your nervous system into the equation, and mindfulness and how we create calm, even through those
Yes.
hard and difficult days. And that mindfulness, whether it be preparing a cup of tea, how do you need to lower and calm your nervous system? You know, whether it be to being grateful of, oh my God, you know, my favorite mug, and remembering where you got it, you know, whatever it is, whatever type of tea it is, whatever ritual that you have, and be really mindful in that process, which lowers your nervous system, which can then lower your pain. Again, all the many ways to bring more ease in.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love tying those pieces together. And I think that that was a really good way to speak about the other topic of our topic today is grace, and really how grace has, what grace is and how we can use it with living with chronic pain and that experience. And, I love that these two topics go together so well because they don't, in my mind, I don't feel like you can give yourself grace without gratitude. And I love, speaking about gratitude, but I also, really am excited to talk about grace. And, grace is one of my kind of hot button words for 2025 about giving myself grace in these moments and what that will look like. So what are your thoughts about grace?
Ah, yes. I think it's taken many years, and it's an evolution on how we're all human, and how we give ourselves grace, because we all have those internal expectations of ourselves. And but yes, going back to grace and giving ourselves grace, I think of it as that flexibility in modifications, on when you need to implement modifications depending on how you're feeling that day. Um, if things are a little flared in my body, I mean, I broke my back over 30 years ago, and I had a brain injury at the same time. So, if I'm having a bit of an off day, and I might have a plan of what I'm wanting to do, say exercise wise, maybe maybe my body would be better served to go for a walk to loosen versus go climb a mountain that day. And those are the modifications and that flexibility that you get to give yourself and your body guilt free. Now, the guilt free piece, that takes a while. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, the other piece I'd like to add about grace is giving y'all permission. It's okay to change your mind.
Oh, absolutely. That
Yeah.
is, yes, we have to. That goes back to the flexibility piece too, of really,
Mhm.
I think we have these ideas and expectations of ourselves
Mm,
because of, society and the way that, we live in society, that there is so much pressure on us to fit into boxes and to do all of these things and to be, these perfect people all the time and to be able to do 50 things a day. Well, when you live with chronic pain, that should never have been our reality. That, we have to change our expectations and give ourselves grace in our expectations. And I think for myself, that has been one of my biggest lessons of I've had to learn how to change my expectations of myself and not be guilty about it. That I have had a tendency, and I think I will always have this tendency to be very overdo or underdo and trying to find that balance
Mhm.
of, modification and moderation. But it is the fact that I have a lot of emotions around my guilt and that I expect myself to, do all the things, and giving myself grace that it's okay to slough off those things on the calendar. It's okay to, not go to all of the invited things that we're always invited to. It's okay to say no. It's okay to take care of myself. In, really the big, aha moment of I can't take care of my family if I can't take care of myself.
For
The work
sure.
that I want to do to take care of people living with chronic pain, I can't do that if I can't take care of myself. So, that those full circle moments of, okay, Michelle, like you're heading into a flare up. Like, let's take a step back. Let's take the moment to reflect. Let's take the moment to have some mindfulness around your expectations, your schedule, around all the things that you get caught up in because you want to keep up with the Joneses, and you're not a Jones. I will never be a Jones. I cannot be a Jones.
Yeah, for sure. That mental piece is huge. The mental chatter gets very loud, doesn't it? Um,
Oh, yes.
it it I recently got on a call with a new client, and she just kind of slumped over in the chair, and she's like, "Ah, this resilience is hard work." And I was like, "Oh," because like I love the word resilience. It's in my coaching program. And I'm like, "Tell me more." And she's like, "Well, with the job, the kids, all the da 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 da, all the busyness, right?"
Yeah.
And you know, having this idea of what resilience is, it's fascinating how it's become this idea that people need to push through, right? And the pushing through and not honoring their body. And I truly believe that, the healing journey begins when we stop battling our body, because battling your body is polar opposite to giving your body grace. So it was a lovely conversation. Um, and I totally get that, coming from a male dominated sport, as a professional athlete on the racetrack, you're taught in society, you're taught to, no pain, no gain, and push through and all this. And it just makes me cringe. And so, yeah, I think there needs to be a lot of conversation around that and how we can honor our body guilt free. And a big piece that I love to say is that for everyone else, if I put my coaching hat right on right now, is rest is an action step. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure. And, with rest, it's about, celebrating the wins and celebrating the fact that you did give yourself rest. You took the time, like taking the time it takes so it takes less time. Of like, if I rest now and, do the things that I need to do for myself now,
Mhm.
then I won't put myself into a huge flare up and have to rest much longer later on. Of like celebrating that stop of like, hey, I gave myself time. I'm going to celebrate the win. Of like, if I can continue to do that, take time out, and being able to rest and rejuvenate, kind of our
Yeah,
our journeys.
for sure. For sure. So I
Yeah.
think, if we take a look at how I like to think of gratitude and grace, very cyclical, and they're very synergistic together, right? When
Yes.
we bring in more gratitude towards our body in general, and how we treat it and view it and tend to it and take care of it, we're going to increase the grace that we and compassion that we give ourselves in turn. So it only amplifies for sure.
Yes, both of those concepts build so well onto each other, and I definitely agree with the kind of that cyclical journey
Yeah.
of it.
So Michelle, how do you tell me how you incorporate grace and gratitude into your work?
So the biggest part of what I have learned in the chronic pain journey and doing the work that I do is that, as well as people living with chronic pain, we also have to think about the providers working with our population.
Mhm.
And so a lot of the work that I do is with providers, all providers that have every touch point for people living with chronic pain. And so moving through chronic pain has developed a really wonderful resource. It's called Difficult Dialogues. And so we are rolling out the Difficult Dialogue series January 31st. And so Difficult Dialogues is 52 provider and patient scripts. So this is really that piece of having providers be able to reflect on what their patients are going through and being able to have difficult dialogues with compassion and empathy. So we go through 52 different topics around chronic pain and give providers lots of resources and ways to speak compassionately with empathy to their patients in a different way so that we can prevent burnout for providers and their teams, but also really change the way we're speaking about chronic pain. So we have developed that, and that is just, we're so excited to roll this out at the end of January. And, that is what we're working on. So I'm just so proud of my team for being able to put this together and roll this out. And we're excited. And I will be posting more on LinkedIn about it and on YouTube. And we'll just kind of keep rolling with that. So
I love that. I think I
yeah.
think I
Yeah.
think this is a huge, I mean, goodness, 52 topics every week of really to open up that dialogue. Yes. So
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
It really is. And I know, Julie, you work with, people living with chronic pain directly. Tell
Mhm.
me about how gratitude and grace works in with your programs.
Yeah, I have my Empowered Resilience program. Really, it is just a supportive 12-week wrapped up in lots of support journey, specifically designed if you're ready to deep dive and unpack those areas contributing to your chronic pain fully in giving yourself and learning how to give yourself that grace that we've discussed today. Really will map out your triggers, your pain patterning, your inflammation, using lifestyle medicine principles, and also uncover the language of your body utilizing the body mind method. So, all in all, to bring ease and calm into your daily life, working with your nervous system, again, to seek lasting change and transform your health so that you can ultimately trust your body again. Yeah.
That is fabulous. I am just so excited that you have this program. What a wonderful resource for people living this journey.
Yeah. It's I primarily work one-on-one with people. I think it's so deeply personal and everyone is so unique. So that way they can get specific personalized program designed for them as we go through these 12 weeks. Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, that is really exciting. How wonderful. We all need that one-on-one piece, and to be able to have, a person, especially living the journey, to be able to reflect, our own journeys with, and give the
Yeah.
experiences, and be able to help with the lived experience. That's amazing.
Oh,
Amazing.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
yeah. So if we kind of wrap up and open things up to our audience, posing a few questions, what are you grateful today? And also, if you are living with the understanding of gratitude of your body, does that offer you more peace, even within your pain?
That is such a great question. And I'm reflecting on it as you ask the question. And, my answer to that would be yes. I'm able to tap into the resources. I'm able to, really,
Mhm.
tap into those resources that I know that can help. And, finding peace and living with pain, I think that's always something that we're always going to work on.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, for sure. It's a process, right?
Absolutely. It is
Mhm.
a hard process.
Mhm. But
Yeah,
with that understanding, right? And giving some gratitude and love back to our body, even if that can ease and lower some pain just a tad, we'll take it.
absolutely. Absolutely. And we would love to hear from anyone that is watching. Please comment. We would love to have chats with you, and any kind of reflections that you have about gratitude and grace, please share them in the comments. We would love to hear them. And we would love to hear about how you're finding peace within your journey, or
Mhm.
people that you have worked with, any and all of it. Um, how do you show grace when you're struggling? I always kind of come back to this question in this journey of, how do we show grace? I
Mhm.
mean, how do we show
Mhm.
grace to ourselves, and how do we show grace to others? Because, we obviously have to have support systems in our lives. And, living, being a support system for somebody that's living the chronic pain journey, I'm sure cannot be easy. So how do we show our support systems grace, and how do we show ourselves grace?
Yeah, I think reminding ourselves that we're all human and um but how I personally show myself grace, I I'm very attuned to my energy levels and sleep is a huge thing for me. Um and I know that can create a little uptick in how my body feels. And if my sleep is off, if my energy levels are down, you know, how I can give myself grace, then I rearrange my schedule and I need a slower day. And I'm okay with that. It's taken me a long time to really honestly be able to say that I'm okay with that. And I think I've moved beyond acceptance to, that's ultimately how I tend to my body and my self-care. That's just part of what I refer to. These aren't my like self-care habits. This is just turned after so long of all these habits and they stack and you implement, pretty soon it just becomes lifestyle. So it doesn't feel as heavy to implement and to opt to maneuver around and with them. So yeah, I'm really okay if, again, grace and that flexibility, if you need to rearrange your schedule for the day. I have kids, I have twins that are teenagers, and I'll let them know, hey, we plan to do this today after you got done with school. Can we push that to tomorrow or the following day? And I think, I work with a lot of moms, and the guilt and that internal dialogue that they feel. And I like to flip that script and ask them, when you give yourself grace and model that, what are you showing your kids? And how that generation will be different than what we might have been taught on how to push through, right? And do all the things and be the perfect, whatever you want to fill in the blank. Yeah. So I think we're raising kids. I mean, mine are 15 right now. And I feel like we're raising kids now with more compassion. And that's important to me, is raising good humans. So by giving yourself grace, you're modeling that for, if you do have kids, to your friends that need to see that, to your coworkers. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Absolutely. I mean, yeah. I mean, we
Mm.
always, yeah, coming back to that of, if you can do it for yourself, other people can do it as well. And really modeling that. That's wonderful. That
Yeah.
is amazing. Do you have any extra thoughts as we sign off today?
Well, um, coming from a place of, I've been there. If you have chronic pain or migraines, I see you. It's been a journey. I mean, I'm 30 years from when I had my big injuries. And my only piece is, and I want to say that those first few years were really rough until I figured a lot out, and it's been a journey. And if you are in those hard places and those hard spaces, to know that tomorrow is a new day. And every day you have a chance for it to be different.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Julie, for doing this live with me. Thank you for, yeah, being committed to these topics. These
Mhm.
are hard topics. Living this journey is difficult, and we are doing it. And I am just so happy to be able to do this with you. So thank you so
Oh,
much for
likewise.
today. Yeah.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, next month, I know you and I have already discussed our next topic, so we are super excited. Every month, Michelle and I are planning on holding these chronic pain compassionate conversations as we dive into other topics. All right.
Yes. Yes. We are going to do another topic in February, and then that one will butt up with March. So it's a two-parter.
Mhm.
And so we will be creating those lives and kind of posing questions to the audience, just like we did today. So yeah, and we encourage you to reach out. Part of why we are doing these compassionate conversations is to build community around living with chronic pain. And we invite you to reach out to us anytime. We would love to speak with anybody about anything, anytime.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think that's a really good point, and I think a big motivating factor for us to be doing this because, I mean, we know chronic pain can, give you the feeling keep you isolated, right? And that
absolutely.
feeling of isolation. So, we want you to know you're not alone. Reach out if you need anything. Yep, we are here.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you to our audience. Thank you to everyone. And we
All
will
right.
see you again soon.
Thanks.